Hey guys, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'm going to keep you updated on what we're doing here. So, like I said before, I had finished glued the base bar into the top plate, and we're going to shape that today. But I have just finished graduating. This is the bottom or the back side of the violin, included with one of my labels here. And so this is ready to go. As soon as we get that base bar shaped and formed, then we will be ready to glue the body, top and bottom, back onto the ribs. And then that's a big step in the process. So all right, so here we go. Here's my top plate. Now my base bar is glued in, but you can see it's flat along the side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out exactly what I want. So right here in the highest point of this is going to be right underneath where that bridge sits. So that is supposed to be 13 millimeters at the high point. So see if we have enough area there. And we are right at 12. So that's awesome. All right, so that's going to be our top spot right here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pencil. I'm just going to kind of shape out, kind of draw out exactly how I want to shape this here. And it's not, it's not identical to, it just gives me kind of a frame of reference here. So on the back side. So with the way that this base bar is shaped, you're going to have the high point is going to be further back. So you can kind of see here, got my high point right about here. And then I have a line coming down here, give me some ideas. Basically, it's going to be a hump on the base bar and it slopes down to these points. So I'm going to take my a little piece. I was just working on the back earlier. So I'm going to start with this guy, and I'm just going to start bringing them off like this. Just kind of get it close down to where that line is, and then we can shape it from there with the smaller one. All right, I'm going to flash forward here when I have a little bit more of the front done, and I'll be right back with you guys. So we're back here, and you can see here's my high point on the bridge, or on the base bar. You can see how I have it sloped down here. So what I have to do now is take this guy out. You can see where that line is down the middle there. And so I'm going to do the same process in the back, and then I'll join back with you when we're ready to start shaping. All right. So you can kind of see how I got the shape with the hump right here under the bridge. Now what we're going to do is try to use my scraper here, the flat side of this scraper, and I'm just going to go over the top of it, trying to round it off here. And then I'll show you how we're going to finish shaping this guy. Hard spot in this base bar. There we go. Just kind of bring it up, just, trying to get, as you use these guys, you just get these weird marks around there. So this just basically smooths it out here. There we go. Nice. All right, so then what I do is I take my small finger plane, and I'm going to ride it right along this edge. So it's going to do, as opposed to having this thing there, we're taking off the sharp end. Then when I go back with sandpaper, it'll round it off. So the base bar is going to be rounded and not like sharp edges there. So I'll take it here, and I'm just going to start on this side, just nice and light, trying to take this edge off. And I found that that's the easiest way to just kind of help shaping this thing. There we go. See, and it's just taking off the real tiny edge that you saw on the base bar, all the way to the front here. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'm going to flip it around here, and I'm going to work the other end. Sometimes I have somewhat of a hard time coming at it from this edge, so I'll have to flip it around if that's the case, but sometimes it'll work with me. There you go. Nice. There we go. Yep, there's that hard spot that I keep talking about there. So that way, in that spot, I'm going to have to come back this side, because it wants to catch right on the grain there. So I'm going to go at this side, take off that part. There we go. Now that I'm over the hump here, I'm going to bring it back all the way to the back. There you go. All right, let me grab some sandpaper, and I'll be right back with you. I found some. The stuff that I normally would use, I seem to be out of. So I just have say 220 grit sandpaper, so very fine. And what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to get it right along those now non pointed edges, and just round it off and kind of try to work it into basically one shape, as opposed to taking all these edges off. And I'll show you where we go from here. There we go. Going down the side. Alright, flip it around, go to the other side here. As you can imagine, there's a very big feeling of satisfaction when stuff starts to come together the way you would look at it. Well, even if it doesn't come together exactly the way you plan it sometimes, just when it starts to take shape and become something, that's one of the coolest things about this. There we go. Almost ready. Really just shaping it, taking off the evidence of the woodworking, just kind of making it its own organic looking shape. All right, let me grab my chisel. There it is. It was hiding on me. Okay. Show you what we're doing with this thing. Let me see if I can get a good shot of this on my. I know I use my phone to. So you can see now it's got its nice shape. There's no hard edges. It's just a nice hump at the bridge. Now what I'm going to do, you can see kind of right here where you get to the edge of this and it's just flat. Okay, so what we do, and I've done it a few different ways, is you kind of basically you're taking off the edge and making it this flat piece, which I'm not, clearly I'm not explaining it very well. So let me just work and try to get this guy. I'll show you what I mean. So once again, look at what it looks like now. See how it just comes to the end there? So we're basically doing is we're taking off this edge very gently, because you don't want it to catch and then dig down into the top plate itself. So I've used X-Acto knives for this, some of my other knives, but I've found that this small chisel always works the best. Just bringing it down. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Stuff like this is where the finesse comes into play, and how many times when I was learning how to do this, I would just slip up and just dig a big old gouge in the top plate, and then you have to try to fix that up. There we go. All right. Pretty good. Let's try to get a little bit flatter here at the end. There you go. So you take the edge off and it becomes chamfered all the way down there. So we're going to do the same thing on the backhand. Okay. This one's actually not too bad to start with. Oh, and the grain wants to work with me much better back here. There we go. There we go. All right, guys. Just take a look at it. There we go. Now we have our base bar. Chamfered on top and bottom, structural. Gives support right underneath the bridge. Now I used to do it, there's another school of thought that as opposed to putting it right here underneath the bridge is just putting it exactly at the halfway point, which would be right here. You can see that that bump would be further. I mean, honestly, I have not noticed a difference one way or the other. I just like to have this structural support right underneath that bridge, because then when we get this all together, we're going to have a sound post right here on the opposite side, basically providing the structure underneath the string tension pulling that bridge down. So, all right, now we have the fun task of gluing the top and the back on the rib side here. I'll try to get everything together. If I can't get that done tonight, then we'll see it in the next week episode. But thank you guys, and I hope you have a great week. Stay safe. Hey guys, I'm talking quietly because everybody in my house is asleep, but I wanted to give you a heads up or an update. If you look at it, I got both the top and the bottom glued back on these rails, and you can see I use these little barrel things to go all the way around. You want to cover as much room as you can, and that'll dry overnight, and then tomorrow we will take it back off and we'll go from there.